wonder if I'm going to get a warning. Nope, just a beep. Okay.
And there we go. So it looks like the recording has started. There we go. I'll edit. All being recorded. Perfect. Well, first of all, everybody, this is Rich Hanlin with Mortgage Ballers, and today I got Tammy Metzger on here from the great state of New Mexico, and by way of transplant of Texas, by way of transplant of New York, by way of transplant of Utah. She is a multi-talented person, which we're going to enjoy to talk about today because we actually have some things in common. That we are both crazy enough to still be alive and talk about it, that the sharks didn't eat us. So thank you so much for coming on and giving me some of your time today. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Hey, what time is it in New Mexico right now?
11:25 a.m.
All right. So, well, okay, I'm 2 hours. I'm 2 hours from you. I'm in Georgia. Oh, and also by way of Georgia.
Yes, Valdosta.
How the hell have you been with Xpert?
Not quite a year yet. August 8th, I think, was my official start.
All right. And apparently the word on the street was we were at an event at UWM and I walked by and we just said, hi.
Somebody was chatting with you. I don't remember who. I was sitting at one of the tables at having breakfast and they, have you met Rich? I was like, no, hi. And where are you from? And he's like, Georgia. I'm like, that's all. I didn't realize who you were until after the fact. I was like, oh, that's Rich.
That's how I roll. When I go down there, it gets a little crazy sometimes because you're in there, in and out there so fast. And it's like, that event, the last event, it was really geared towards our UWM. When we do the realtor event, they let us talk more and do more interaction and get to have more one-on-one. And I like that because sometimes that's the only time I get to meet people like face to face and things like that.
Right.
We're trying to do more events now for 2025. I'm getting out from behind the desk. I've been 3 years behind the desk, but we're at 600 plus people. We have all owners working admins. Like, okay, wait a minute. I think it's to the point now where we don't need everybody doing the same thing. You guys specialize in this. Let us specialize in this. I feel like I'm wasted if I'm stuck behind a desk all day. Sure, I can do that, but it's not use of my time. Traveling, speaking with you guys, helping you with your business models, bringing stuff to you guys that, hey, this is what's working. We're going to start having a once a week, 1 hour thing where, hey, you can come on or not come on. If there's one person, then one person gets me, but we're going to talk about different things that we're doing. Because I originate, I also do real estate. So it's like, I'm doing it too. So therefore it's not somebody talking at you.
Right.
Now, when I interview these top people, Tammy, I find they have a lot in common. And whether it's consistency, whether it's coaching, I'm like, well, shoot, I can help with all that. Like, why are we not doing that? So,
right.
Plus I like it. So I love getting here and be able to talk with you today, which I really like. Hey, how long have you been doing lending in general?
In general, I mean, I started out in auto lending in my 20s for quite some time. Last place I worked was Ford Motor Credit. And then I started in the mortgage industry back in early 2017. I started as a loan officer assistant. Okay. And before the end of that year, I had taken the test, and my goal was to be a third-party processor because the loan officer I worked for was very intense, very stressed out, worked every day, 12-hour days. And I was like, oh, I'm never doing that job. I don't want to be that. So I started doing third-party processing. But then once I started working with a few more loan officers, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be. And so, yeah, I started originating shortly thereafter. And I think I love it. But I also am really glad that I took the path I did because it gave me more insight from the inside. I've been an underwriter in auto lending, so I kind of had that knowledge, that skill set. And so now I see from the processor, how to proactively approach a deal and keep things low stress so that I don't have to become that first loan officer I worked for.
Sure. Well, yeah. Tammy and I found out that we have a lot in common. So although she has outdone me, Tammy is, and it's called Ironman. That's just what they call it. But she is an Ironman triathlete. She's actually did open water swimming in South Africa. they call that the Shark Fest one, where the fastest swimmers win, the slower swimmers lose.
Become chum.
What was the second one that you did?
Pardon?
Where was the second one you did? What was that?
The second one was in Arizona.
Well, that's right.
I went as far away as possible for the first one and stayed as close to home for the second one.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Julio, I always get Julio's last name. He's coming in from Utah. He's also done the Ironman. We were talking about that. Matter of fact, he travels to Hawaii to watch the Hawaiian Ironman.
Ah, the championship. Yeah. I have friends who still go.
The slots. I've tried to do the raffles. I've tried to do everything. The corporate structure. I never get in. Now I couldn't do it. Save my life. I couldn't even. I might be able to do the swim, but I have no desire to do that run.
Yeah.
The one that I did with a lot of wind, and I didn't realize how much wind over 112 miles can like really affect you. That like,
oh yeah,
before I even got on the run. And it was beautiful though. Loved having them close all the venues down so that you can have the space on the water and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I don't do that stuff anymore. That's been a few years. I mean, my goal now is just to keep up with my dogs. I mountain bike. I have a dog who chases me on the mountain bike. I do canacross, which is just trail running with the dog kind of pulling you. I paddleboard with another one of my dogs. They each have their sport that they love. So a body in motion stays in motion is my philosophy, but I am not competing in any way.
Well, it's believe me, I wasn't competing. My competing was to finish the event.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to come. I watch those athletes. I'm like, oh my gosh, that like, what do you mean you're done in just a few hours? Like, I'm just getting like, and you're finishing. That was a hard.
No fair.
Shorter events. I thought the Olympic events, there was the shorter ones, but I was amazed. I mean, those guys are sprinting. They have sprints too. And they literally sprint the whole thing. You're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the people. What I enjoyed about it, Tammy, for me was I wanted to push myself. But on top of it, life has all this craziness. But when that horn goes off, boom, everything stops and you go. And that has helped me in my life because I've come up against a lot of times in my life when I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's like, dang it, blow the horns and let's go. And am I always right? No. Do I fail a lot? Yes. But the only way you're ever going to get it right is you're going to have to fail a couple times to figure out what works and what doesn't work. I know different things that work for me when it comes to this business and how I talk to people, how I interact with people. And there's times when I wasn't good at that. And so many people are so afraid to fail. And I'm like, hey, you can't get from this island to this island unless you just start swimming. I mean, right. Truly, there's no way to cheat it. Stay here, and yeah, it's okay. But man, it could be so much better over here. And for a lot of people, just one more transaction a month could be life because the average cost of houses, the average loan amount. I mean, it's gone up. I mean, I'm old, so I was back in '91 when 186 was the 186,001 was like the jumbo loan in California. It's been a while. You can't even get a first-time loan back.
Yeah. Ironman teaches you a lot. You know, it's Ironman teaches you a lot, mostly about yourself, right? And what you can accomplish. I mean, I know after my first one, so many people, especially because it was in South Africa, so many people were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. That's so amazing." And in my head, I was still it's not amazing. I mean, I just kept moving forward. I'm just tenacious, you know, and I didn't even give myself credit, you know, for what I went through in that first one. I also was extremely ill leading into the race. I was bedridden for almost a week, and I got up and I felt a little better. And I was like, well, if I survive the swim, I can do it. And I did, you know, and it wasn't until I had another one under my belt and kind of more life experience that I kind of was able to reframe that and realize, you know, the life lessons that are there. And that, you know, you do need to keep moving forward. If you want to have success, you can sit down and you can give up, or you can just keep, you know, there's a guy taking bigger, faster steps than you. That's okay. You're going the same direction.
I agree. I did learn a lot. Perseverance is huge. So many times you want to stop. I found out that my body, even though when it wanted to stop, you could push through. And that is probably the biggest thing that a lot of us in anything we do that separates. That's a lot of people do coaching and they're like, gosh, just push through this. I'm going to take you from here to here, but you're going to have to push through this self-defeating thought process in order to get here. But if you make it, you will never, ever go back, because this becomes a new norm. People are like, how do you ride 112 miles? Well, I start by riding 10. It's like,
yeah.
And it's like, that becomes easier.
Right.
And it's like, you're doing an 80 mile and how many, and you're going to go off the bike and run 16 miles today? Yeah. Like, how do you do that? It's like, literally, it's time and energy, consistency. And it is very prevalent to what we do in life and how we take life.
Yes.
I don't take life so seriously anymore, because I've pushed myself to these limits that I'm like, I'm going to be okay. I'll be okay. Let me just step out a little bit, and worst case is I'll pull back to my base. I can always go backwards, but I want to see how far I can go forward. Are you part of a team at all, or do you just do everything by yourself?
I mean, I have my own third-party processor, so I pretty much work on my own. I have my own brand, Mortgage Dogs, which is
okay. You're the Mortgage Dogs.
Based, yeah. It's based on the drawing. The logo is actually my own 3 rescue dogs, and the ones that I run and paddleboard and mountain bike with, and we also do a lot of sports trialing. So that's kind of my new obsession since leaving the triathlon world.
Okay, I like it. I remember when that one came across, my son Justin's like, who is this? Look at this one. We never had this one before. We do. And I enjoy that, because just like anything else, people are like, what's this Mortgage Dogs, right? It's what creates conversations. Conversations turn into applications turn into loans turn into funding. Everybody goes straight to the loans. It's like, let's back you way up over here. How are you getting conversations? And it's like, if I want to find people that I like, if I want to have conversations within people that I get along with, I just keep doing all the things I like to do. I like being active too. So, and eventually someone says, well, what do you do? Right? But we have a common thread, and they're willing to listen to. I was telling somebody that I used to get a lot of business because I would do open houses with my realtor, but no one wanted to talk to me. Like, oh, you're the loan person. I'm like, no, let's talk. No. Well,
I'm also a person.
Real estate license. Hey, can I do some open houses for realtors where I'm trying to get a buyer? Really, I wasn't trying to get a buyer. When you come in and you're the real estate person, then they'll talk to you all day long. Well, who's your loan with? How are you going to, I could have all these conversations, and I could pick up leads for my real estate agents. I just wanted the loan leads. As I used to call my people in California, if you're really slow, get your DRE license and go do open houses for people. First time home buyer open houses, you'll get all kinds of people that walk through there, and you can pick up leads that way. Other people in this one, they're like, oh, I don't want to get that license. I'm like, cool. Here's a cool one for you. Someone shared the other day, and I'm like, well, I kind of do the same thing. He couldn't get real estate agents to have coffee with him. He was doing heavy duty coaching, and they're like, yeah, you got to touch 25 new people a day, 5 days a week, and blah, 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 blah. And you better do it, I'm going to yell at you. And turning your statement, somebody did it. But he didn't like, can we have coffee? No, can we have? So he changed it. He made a YouTube channel where he had just small setup like this, and gave it a different name. And he started calling the same agents and say, gosh, you just had a great month, Tammy. I'm with Mortgage Ballers channel, and I record some of the top people, and I'd love to promote you on there because I think people would love to hear you. Oh my God, I'd love to meet with you and do that. Cool. Let's send time. And all of a sudden, he went from people fighting him to people enjoying it, getting the laugh one-on-one, getting to know more. And got, oh, you also do loans? I do loans. Well, that's weird that you didn't lead with that. No, because more important that I want the relationship. And he said he got more business off that to the point that was fun, and he was still accomplishing the 25 a day, but he had such a bigger pull through. And before he knew it, he had more business than he ever had it. And that's Michael Radcliffe. That's one of his.
Oh, yeah. I just started using his CRM. So,
that's by an originator, the way it's set up for the accountability that once you get somebody, obviously, it's hard to get people. And you don't want to just let them go. It's if you can keep nurturing. Catherine Barnett talks about she likes to farm and nurture and grow her database. She stays in front of that database.
Yes.
Always offering value to them so that when the time comes, they're like, well, just ask Catherine. I mean, we get something from her every week, and it's not just prying on them, but it's non-loan. How can I help better your life? So,
right. Yeah, that's really been my focus as well. And I'm, I've never really had like a mentor in all these years. It's just been kind of trial and error. And when things really hit that brick wall a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, I started kind of dipping my toe into just to look at what are coaches telling people. And I was just like, that's never going to be me. I'm not going to be that person who's going to sit on the phone and call realtors. Everyone's calling the realtor. If you're not calling the realtor, I'm like, if everyone's calling the realtor, why do I want to be just another person calling the realtor, offering them a cup of coffee? So my goal has always been to, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Has always been to, lead with authenticity and for friendships. And that is the realtor partners that I have that are sending me business is because we have a base of a genuine friendship. We have things in common. And I, definitely go out of my way to try and provide a value, to them. I'm not just asking for business. What can I do to help? What challenges are you having? Oh, let's put together this program. Let's try this other thing, So it's, I'm no $1 million rock star over here, but I'm doing all right. I have a good life, so I'm happy.
No, I like it. And you are not, I mean, you talked about some of your past life, but right nowadays, when you're not in loan mode, when you're not trying to get a business, you're not trying to track down realtors and hunt them down in that next borrower, what kind of hobbies and things are you doing nowadays? Who are you outside the loan world?
Yeah. I love scent work trials with my dogs. So it's kind of an offshoot of detection dogs. And so we do a lot of trialing. I travel a little bit with that. I'm a huge genre film fan. When I lived in Austin, every year I went to a festival called Fantastic Fest. So I know a lot of people in the film industry, and I very much love that. I've also started a book club here locally, and we do movies and books in the horror genre. So I love that.
All right.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Everyone's always, why do you like scary movies? I'm like, I don't know. Why do you like rom-coms? We are who we are, right? Other than that, just, trying to stay active, and mostly I stay active out of a need to exercise my dogs, so they keep me healthy.
That's perfect. Well, tell me a little bit about your market. You're in New Mexico. Where are you in New Mexico?
I'm in Albuquerque.
Well, Albuquerque, New Mexico. You told me that. So
Yeah.
I had somebody in Orange County last week. It's $1 million for a first-time home buyer. We had somebody in Michigan. It's $240. I was talking to a guy in Colorado Springs that he's like, Rich, it's $350 to $400. Albuquerque, New Mexico, to become a homeowner. What kind of price range are you looking at to get in to be a homeowner in Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Before COVID, it was so different. Like, it has changed drastically. I moved here literally 3 weeks before the first COVID shutdown, before awareness of COVID was a thing. And I bought a beautiful 1,700 square foot home in a highly desirable area for $280,000. I sold it last year for $410,000. So it's it's definitely like taken off. Inventory's pretty good. I would say I don't really have a tab on exactly what the average is, but it's over 3, I would say, for your average home here now. Most of my business is still coming out of the Austin down to San Antonio market. And so that can vary quite a bit. I mean, Austin, 400 to 600, down in San Antonio, San Marcos area, more in the 300s still. So it's kind of all over the place, but it's definitely a shock, to anyone who didn't get in before COVID. Big changes there. And then, we had our interest rate challenges on top of that, and it can be tough.
Great. How is insurance an issue in New Mexico like it is in California and in Colorado and Florida, or is that not really set in there?
It's interesting. In Albuquerque, it's really not. Like, that 1,700 square foot, $400,000 home cost me $1,200 a year to insure. But I just got a lead down in Alamogordo, which is, military base is kind of all that's going on down there, White Sands. and was sending out a quote, and the realtor told me their average insurance is like $2,500 a year because of wind and hail. So they have more of an issue there. So I think, New Mexico is a very diverse geographical state. And so I think it really depends on what pocket you're in. Texas is more in the 2,500, range. They're having some of the same challenges that Florida is, not quite as bad, but yeah, New Mexico has been a nice little kind of protective oasis from most of the things that have been going on in the year around the last few years.
That's good to hear. Tell me
Yeah.
about this. We're all in different markets. We all have different clientele. We have a lot of people they've been waiting. They've been white knuckling it, waiting for these 2.5% rates to come back. You got people sitting on the edge, and it's like, hey, I'm going to wait. And then it's like, what do you tell those people? Whether they're currently a homeowner, maybe they like could save $1,000 a month to that first time home buyer, or someone's maybe going to move up. They've been waiting around 3 years for that rate cut. What's your talk track with those people?
I really try to be supportive and educational. That's kind of my thing. And historically speaking, the best time to buy a home, if you haven't already, is now, right? We know that historically speaking, but we don't know for sure what the future holds. And so I say first and foremost to not feel overwhelmed or pressured. Find professionals to work with who are going to take their time with you and go at your pace, right? And educate you on the various options and making sure that they're telling you the fine print as well, right? Sometimes for people emotionally, it's not the right time to buy, and that's okay, but let's talk about what the right time would be for you and make sure that we have a plan in place so that when that right time comes, you're not only ready, but you have an understanding of at least the surface of what you're getting into. So that's kind of my thing. I have a master's of education from UT Austin. And so that's the part that I love the most, is educating people, kind of pulling the curtain back, showing them what's going on, showing them, everyone's always, I find it fascinating that everyone's so focused on interest rate, that they think, oh, this is the best interest rate, even though I'm paying 2 points to buy it down. I'm like, well, is that the best time? When rates are the highest, is that the best time to pay to get a lower rate? Showing them how you tell, when do you break even on that? What you paid up front as far as that monthly payment impact. When do you break even? Okay, you're going to break even in 4 years. Do you think interest rates are going to drop the next 4 years? If they are, then maybe it's better to have that money cover closing costs, keep more money in your pocket. You basically, by keeping that money in your pocket, you have already paid for your refinance down the road. Again, being sure that they're comfortable with that payment that they have now, because it might not change. We don't know what the future holds. And that's the key. Here's what we can say, historically speaking, and expert wise, what we think is going to happen, but we might all be wrong. So
People, and I like it because history in the past, people want to know everything. I need to know what the future is going to hold. It's like, none of us know that. Here's one thing I do know. I know that renting is 1,000% interest rate, because you get nothing off of it. So we really can't compare the two. I also know that as long as you're breathing, you're going to put your head on a pillow somewhere at night. The question is, are you going to do it for somebody else's mortgage and growth? Or maybe in that same time frame that you're forced to do it, you can start building equity in yourself. We have so many down payment assistance programs, but then people are like, well, I can't live in the neighborhood I want. And I'm like, cool, maybe for the next 2 years that you grow a little bit and you step out to that second or third neighborhood away from where you want to be, and you can easily get back, because the next 2-3 years of your life will go by very quickly. I promise you. There's ownership available all over the place. And so many people, they just keep, they want to stay on that little island over here. They just won't step over and try. And it's I call it islands because there's a vast difference in legacy and growth and net worth for the people that stay on the renting island versus the people that step out and eventually attempt the ownership island. The hardest home you'll ever buy will be your first.
It's scary.
Well, because it's all your fears are going to be there. And we're going to interview some first-time home buyers and some people to hear, this is where you were. Here it is 6 months later, a year later. what do you know now versus that person that you could share with somebody who's still way over here? Because they don't need to hear from me because I'm just a loan officer trying to sell them something. It's like,
Right.
we always want to force it. Just trust me. You don't know me, but just trust me. And it's like, I don't want you to trust me. I have history on my side. I have these people. But there's a common factor here is I was the loan officer of this person. I was the loan officer. Eventually, you're going to have to trust somebody.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm going to trust my friend. They just got their loan license. Like, okay. So are they going to give you a smoking deal, or do they have to answer somebody and they have a specific lay of X amount of money they got to make? Because on the broker side, my people can do whatever they want, you know.
Right.
And we have people do it all the time. Like I have deals that sometimes don't work out well, and I'm like, I can't take a check on this, so therefore I'm dropping my fee, or I'm going to refund it to you after the fact. They don't feel like I earned it. And they're like, well, no one ever does that. I'm like, no, they don't, but they should, you know. And actually,
And I love it when they talk about
money. It's crazy.
Yeah. And when they talk about the loan officer or the realtor who they're going to hire who's brand new because they can trust them, because they know them, the aspect they're not thinking about, and I support those new people. We all started somewhere, right? But when I think about how much I did not know in my first few years in this business, it's not just about trust. It's about what is that person's knowledge base to even know what to present to you as far as your options, right? When you first start out, a lot of loan officers come into this from a sales background. I, again, feel very lucky that I came in from the processing background, and I'm not a salesperson in the least. I'm very uncomfortable with the concept of selling. That gave me kind of the baseline to be able to educate people more and show them that. So it's not always just about trust. It's about what experience and knowledge does this person bring to the table.
I had a friend, he finally got the nerve to buy a house, him and his wife. And, I helped him on the transaction, but then he called me back later. He was so upset with me that I had lied and cheated. I'm like, dude, what's going on? He goes, I just got this supplemental tax bill. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, well, you knew I'd get it. And I'm like, well, we all get it. That's part of home ownership. He goes, well, you didn't warn me or nothing. I said, well, I'll be honest with you, that's not actually my job to do it. That should have been your real estate agent. Like, I do the loan side of it. I just assumed that your real estate agent would have explained to you how the home ownership side worked, but he would me so much that I was the bad person. And your real estate agent with that? I mean, or did you just get, quite honestly, he was so upset. He thought I lied to him and with this hidden cost. And I'm thinking, I tried to explain it to him, and quite honestly, I think we never made it back from that conversation. He was so about it, and I thought, wow. So now I have that conversation with people. Yes, anybody's explained this to you, but here, based on in the next 1 to 6 months, you're going to get a supplemental tax bill. It's going to range from this to this. If you're not aware of what it is, but actually, I think the realtors now, at least in California, I think in the packets talk about supplemental taxes. There's a whole of them there where they didn't used to. Maybe that's why, because people got angry. You get into a house and all of a sudden it's like more money. Depending on the last.
And that's the California thing. Like I did a condo loan for a friend in California, or I assisted on one last year. And I didn't know about that until the realtor actually told me about it. I was like, oh, wow, that's not a thing that happens in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado. But I do something along those same lines is that I don't think a lot of first-time buyers realize that their mortgage payment will go up over time. And so when I'm going over that loan estimate, I'm sure this is to say, this is your principal and interest. This number will not change until such time as you refinance or pay off your loan. This is your escrow. This number absolutely will change on an annual basis. So just be aware, Yeah. So.
Wow. Yeah. Tammy, great information. I appreciate you sharing all that today. We got to know a little bit about you. We got to know how long you've been doing it. Found out we have some things in common, which is always awesome. That's a small group of people of us that can talk about the Ironmans. We're easy enough to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say thank you so much for just meeting with me, being real with me, talking so that people can know more, not just loan officer, so much more over here. Let's get to know people over here And by the way, I can help you over here, because it's these things that you're human on that we learn to trust versus just lumping people in over here. And I love it that, the way you explained how you get people off that fence and how you walk them through it. It's, you're nurturing them, you're teaching them. There's an underwriter in there, that calmness, and they're frantic, they're getting calm, which is, you really said it very well, which I really like.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for doing that. I love finding out who the face is of Xpert home lending out in the world. We can do these electronic things, but we have all these people that represent the name of Xpert in some way, shape, or form. And I'm in awe when I meet you guys. You guys are so awesome. And I'm like, wow, thank you for partnering with us. I mean, I sleep good at night because we have some incredible people that are out there doing such good things and helping people, and their heads are in the right place. And I just want to say thank you for just continuously reinstilling that in me, that it's all worth it every day, what we're doing. I don't have any weird people that work here. They're all just incredible people.
Well, there's some weirdness under the covers, but yeah, thank you. I mean, I very much enjoy, my time here so far. It's, really allowed me to work the way that I want to, from an authentic place. And I'm loving it. So thanks for having me on with Xpert.
No, I like it too. I want to just say thank you for meeting up for this. I got this recorded. We're going to put it out there for other people to get to know you better. But like I say, when we always finish a one-on-one interview, you know what I say?
No, what do you say?
What? All right, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we always say when we finish a mortgage baller interview? Stay thirsty, my friend.
Nice. I love it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rich. Thank you. Bye-bye.